decided on Wednesday night. And those
Was that 12? Welcome. I'm Sue Scott, and I am a white woman, well past her prime, but I'm still kicking. I'm wearing clothes that match my earrings that I got in Transylvania, where Unitarianism was first invented. So, welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. A special welcome to those of you who are new to the church or visiting, like my sister from Minnesota. If you're here in person, you can find a card at the back of the sanctuary where you can share contact information so you can receive our email newsletter. And if you're online, you can find a similar form under newcomers on the website. We're happy to have all our friends, new and old, who are watching us on YouTube this morning. We are very welcome, as you can tell. Please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you are joining us from. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, and now the prelude prepares us for worship. Bill Gouldy will light our chalice. We light our chalice in Midtown, Oklahoma City, on land that was home to first Americans, including the Apache, Caddo, and Wichita, on land that was taken from the Muskogee and Seminole and other removed and relocated peoples. We light the chalice as a symbol of our sacred time together. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope.
We gather together to awaken to life's possibilities, to honor the spark of wisdom within, the compassion that connects us to all beings, and the courage to act with love and justice. In this shared moment, let us walk the path of mindful living, embracing the beauty of the present and the promise of the future. Time now to share our welcome with each other. Well, first of all, I want to commend Steve over here, playing the piano with one hand, directing the choir with another, and a couple other hands doing this and that and the other. I don't know about you, but I do like it occasionally when it snows enough to where it's just white out. And we get extra light in the house. And I just think it's marvelous, but it's a reminder that it won't be long before we start planting seeds for various plants that we either want to grow for food or for other things. And I'm going to tie that in just a minute to the story, but let me tell you the story about Ella and the Garden of Questions. Ella was a curious little girl who loved asking questions. She asked about everything. Why is the sky blue? How do birds fly? Why do people feel happy or sad? One Sunday at her UU church, Ella looked out at the shiny brand new playground and had another question. She asked her teacher, how do we know what is right and wrong if we don't talk about God? Her teacher smiled and said, that's a great question, Ella. Let's think about it together. Have you noticed the new playground on the front lawn? Ella nodded. Yes, it looks pretty cool. I hope the playground can be a happy place for everyone. Sometimes kids get hurt, though. I helped a little girl last year on a different playground after she fell. The teacher replied, yes, sometimes kids get hurt, which is why we have to help each other when that happens and help prevent future falls. You didn't need anyone to tell you that helping was the right thing to do. You felt it in your heart and saw it with your eyes. We, UUs, believe we can use our hearts and minds, our kindness and curiosity to figure out how to live together and make the world better. Ella looked back at the playground. She said, so being a UU is like working on the playground. We look at what's needed, we help each other, and we make things better. Her teacher nodded, that's right. And just like the playground, life is full of things we can fix, we can build and enjoy together. You might not have all the answers right away, but humanists, for instance, believe that asking good questions and doing our best is what really matters. Ella grinned and said, I think I can do that. Later that day, Ella and her friends played on the playground, thinking about all the kindness and teamwork that had gone into building it. They decided to design a garden next to the playground. She decided that her questions were like the seeds they were about to plant, little seeds of kindness and curiosity that could grow into something beautiful. From that day on, Ella called her questions her seeds of kindness. Every time she asked a question or did something to help, it was like planting a little seed in the world, helping it grow into a better place.
Not only do we plant seeds, but we also take an offering. Every Sunday we take an offering, and since 2002, all the cash and designated checks from that offering have gone directly to external nonprofit organizations doing good work, our Change for Change partners. This month's Change for Change partners is Live Free Oklahoma City. Live Free addresses the problem that Oklahoma cities are afflicted with increasing yet preventable violence due to lack of coordination, cooperation, and collaboration among existing community resources. Their goal, dramatically reduce gun violence in impacted Oklahoma City communities through intervention and effective provision of resources. For those of you who are in the sanctuary with us today, in just a moment we'll be passing the plate. And if you're watching us online, please make your gift by sending a check to First Unitarian. Just write Change for Change on the memo line. Or you can make an online payment through our website, 1UC. We will now begin the offertory. The children, youth, and teachers are now invited to go to their classes as we sing them out. Go now in peace. We do go now in peace now. Scott and I kind of got volunteered on this worship committee thing, and so we're going to give this a go. He had recommended a series of writings for me to read, so I chose the one by scientist Stephen Jay Gould. It's from the book The Meaning of Life, Reflections in Words and Pictures on Why We Are Here. The human species has inhabited this planet for only 250,000 years or so, 0.0015% of the history of life, the last inch of the cosmic mile. The world fared perfectly well without us for all but the last moment of earthly time, and this fact makes our appearance look more like an accidental afterthought than the culmination of a prefigured plan. Moreover, the pathways that have led to our evolution are quirky, improbable, unrepeatable, and utterly unpredictable. Human evolution is not random. It makes sense and can be explained after the fact. But wind back life's tape to the dawn of time and let it play again, and you will never get humans a second time. We are here because one odd group of fishes had a peculiar fin anatomy that could transform into legs for terrestrial creatures, because the earth never froze entirely during an ice age, because a small and tenuous species arising in Africa 250,000 years ago has managed so far to survive by hook and crook. We may yearn for a higher answer, but none exists. This explanation, though superficially troubling, if not terrifying, is ultimately liberating and exhilarating. We cannot read the meaning of life passively in the facts of nature. We must construct these answers ourselves from our own wisdom and ethical sense. There is no other way. The end of the reading. But my question of reflection is, are we in this together, or is everyone out for themselves? I believe religious humanism requires us to bring our questions to community for solutions, or at least next steps. And we can get cues from the natural world. There is no other way. This is called the Unitarian Shuffle.
Astrophysics, scholars, trace
Wheels are a good thing. At this time, please take a deep breath in and feel the air that fills your lungs. This same air has moved through the forests, across the oceans, and even through the stars that birthed us. As you breathe out, let yourself settle into this moment, this space, this interconnected reality. We are in the universe, and the universe is in us too. The atoms in our bodies, each one a tiny miracle, were forged in the hearts of stars, exploding outward to form all that we see and know. Matter, energy, time, and space are not distant concepts. They're the very fabric of our being. In every heartbeat, every thought, every step, the universe moves within us. Think for a moment of the connections we hold. Connections to the earth that grounds us, to the air that sustains us, to the sun whose energy fuels all life. These are not separate from us. They are us. The tree outside the window, the bird in flight, the child laughing in the next room. All of these are part of this vast unfolding story of existence. To see ourselves as separate is an illusion. Like a wave on the ocean, we're distinct for a moment, but we're never apart from the water itself. Just as the wave cannot exist without the ocean, we cannot exist without the universe in all its myriad forms. And this insight calls us to compassion, for to harm another is to harm ourselves, and to heal another is to heal the world. Let us reflect on what this means, that we're deeply, intimately connected to every living thing, to every moment that has ever been, and to every possibility yet to come. We're not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos, thinking, feeling, and marveling at its own beauty. And with this connection comes wonder and responsibility. Every word we speak, every action we take, ripples outward like waves across the vast ocean of existence. In those ripples lie the potential to harm or to heal, to separate or to unite. What will we choose? Apparently. How will we live, knowing that the universe exists not just around us, but within us, and making little noises around us? As we sit here together, let's honor this connection. Let us pause in gratitude for the miracle of being, for the stars that gave us their light, for the earth that gives us its strength, and for each other, whose lives weave together with our own. In wonder, in humility, let's remember we are in the universe, and the universe is in us too. I'm Scott Harvey. I forgot to introduce myself earlier. But I checked my wallet, and yeah, I am Scott Harvey. I'm a member of the church and a member of the worship committee, as Sue mentioned. And this morning, I'd like to explore the theme of living religious humanism, a worldview that invites us to find meaning and purpose through wonder, responsibility, and, of course, action. Together, we'll reflect on the randomness of existence as presented by Stephen Jay Gould in the reading that Sue read. We'll draw inspiration from the legacy of Jimmy Carter and consider how awe and creativity can guide us in building lives of love, justice, and connection. Stephen Gould's reflection on the randomness of human existence challenges us to reflect on our place in the cosmos, showing that humanity's presence is a product of chance rather than intention. This humbling view invites us to find meaning in the absence of a predetermined cosmic plan. Now, this perspective can feel unsettling. If we're not the culmination of a grand cosmic plan, what does it mean to exist? Gould doesn't leave us adrift in existential despair. Instead, he opens a door to a liberating truth. The absence of a predetermined purpose allows us to craft our own meaning. And for those of us who identify as religious humanists, this is an exhilarating opportunity. It aligns with our deep commitment to live ethically, not in response to external decrees or supernatural mandates, but by drawing upon the wellspring of shared human wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering sense of justice. At the heart of our worldview is a profound trust in humanity's capacity for goodness and the belief that we can collectively create meaning and purpose through our relationships and our actions. Just like in the story of the playground, where a child falls and begins to cry, and other children instinctively step forward to console and help, we recognize that this impulse to comfort, to heal, and to restore is an integral part of our nature. And this small, spontaneous act of kindness reminds us that even in moments of pain, our innate connection to one another shines through, offering hope and care. It's a quiet but powerful force, a reminder that at our best, we're attuned to one another's needs and capable of extraordinary care. Yet, in the noise and chaos of the world, this voice within us can be drowned out by fear, cynicism, or the louder calls of self-interest. But it remains unshaken in our core, a moral compass guiding us back to connection, back to equity and shared humanity. As religious humanists, we see this as both a gift and a calling, to amplify that inner voice of care and justice, to resist the forces that seek to divide or dehumanize, and to cultivate communities where this innate goodness can flourish. This is not a passive hope, but an active practice, choosing again and again to trust in the potential of humanity to grow toward empathy, understanding, and collective well-being. It's not always easy, but in doing so, we embody the essence of what it means to be fully human and fully alive. Humanists believe we can use our hearts and minds, our kindness and curiosity to figure out how to live together and make the world better. The task of creating meaning is not a burden, but a gift. We are co-creators of the narratives that shape our lives, drawing on our ability to wonder, to connect, and to transform. Speaking of wonder, connect, and transform, those words resonated deeply with me as I reflected on the life of Jimmy Carter after watching his funeral on Thursday. Anybody watch any of that? Yes. A man of strong faith, Carter's prioritized in improving the world enchant me even to this day. His life and legacy stand as a powerful testament to the balance between faith and action. A devout Christian and deeply prayerful man, Carter was unshakable in his belief in the power of human agency. While he turned to prayer for guidance, he did not wait for divine intervention to address the pressing needs of the world. Instead, he committed himself to the hard, often unglamorous work of solving problems, fostering peace, and alleviating human suffering. I guess what I'm saying is that Carter's approach resonates deeply with the values of religious humanism. He exemplified the belief that our shared humanity and moral responsibility compel us to act, Whether brokering peace accords, building homes through Habitat for Humanity, or eradicating diseases like guinea worm, which I think took place in 7 nations in Africa. And there are little Jimmy Carters of parents that named their kids after him. His work was rooted in the conviction that human beings are capable of creating a more just and compassionate world, that we have agency and responsibility. Excuse me. Now, I don't know if you saw any of the speakers at the funeral, but I was taken by Andrew Young's remarks. Moreover, I'm fascinated by his relationship with Jimmy Carter over many decades. Andrew Young was a prominent civil rights leader and former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, still alive. And he shared a profound and enduring friendship with Carter, marked by mutual respect and a shared commitment to human rights and equality. Their relationship, spanning several decades, was rooted in a common vision for a more just and inclusive society. Andrew Young first became acquainted with Jimmy Carter during the 70s, a period of significant social and political upheaval in the United States. And I remember those days, and Jimmy Carter wasn't terribly popular with a lot of people at the time, but I don't think anybody really was. Those two had a shared commitment to civil rights and human dignity and laid the foundation for a partnership rooted in respect and vision for a more just and equitable society. At that time, Andrew Young was serving as a key figure in the civil rights movement, working alongside Dr. Martin Luther King while Carter was the governor, or I think he became the governor of Georgia after King's assassination. But their paths crossed, and both were deeply involved in efforts to dismantle systemic racism. During his tenure at the United Nations, Young played a pivotal role in advocating for human rights and decolonization, particularly in Africa, aligning with Carter's foreign policy emphasis on human rights. And throughout their professional collaboration, Young admired Carter's unwavering integrity, humility, and dedication to public service. He often remarked on Carter's hands-on approach and his willingness to engage directly with complex issues, both domestically and internationally. Their shared faith strengthened their bond, with both men drawing inspiration from their deep religious convictions to guide their public service endeavors. So religion has a role to play here for some, for inspiration, for guidance, for perpetuating the shared nature of many of our struggles. At Carter's funeral, Young delivered a heartfelt homily reflecting on their friendship and Carter's impact on the nation. Speaking without a prepared speech inside the National Cathedral, Young expressed his admiration for Carter's character and legacy, stating, "Jimmy Carter was a blessing that helped to create a great United States of America, and for all of us and many who are not able to be here, I want to say thank you. You have been a blessing." Young's remarks underscored Carter's commitment to peace and human rights and fostering an inclusive society, emphasizing his ability to inspire and surprise, even after decades of friendship. His eulogy was a poignant tribute to a leader whose life was dedicated to service, compassion, and the pursuit of justice. It seems to me that President Carter was very creative. One can argue about the results of his 4 years in the presidency, but creative problem solving and willingness to tackle impossible problems make me think he had a playful side. Get Egypt and Israel together? Why not? Sure, let's do it. And that has lasted decades. Maybe do a little of the unexpected. Maybe play a little bit more in your life. It seems to me that living our lives is largely an experience that transcends sheer cognition. Consider for a moment children at play. Their openness to new experiences and boundless creativity reflect the kind of freedom we often strive for in adulthood. This playful spirit reminds us that creativity and openness are vital in addressing life's challenges. Why should we abandon such useful activity just because we're grown up? True, the issues we face as adults are often very serious, sometimes deadly serious, and yet the openness that we have to new experiences and the value of experimentation and creativity in our lives cannot be overstated. I think, as I recall last week, John Alou mentioned that ours is an experimental faith. For those of us in the UU tradition, Carter's legacy invites reflection. While he drew strength from his theistic faith, his actions were a testament to universal values of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, the pursuit of justice and equity, and the interconnectedness of all life. His life showed that faith, whether theistic, humanist, or otherwise, is not measured by what we believe, but by what we do to make the world better. As was mentioned last week, we are the authors of our lives. So there is a big existential component in our humanist faith in that we create and uncover meaning in this life. The quirky and improbable pathways of evolution that Sue spoke about inspire awe inside of me. It is staggering to consider the countless fragile moments that culminated in the life we now share. Recognizing this tenuous chain doesn't diminish our worth, but it enhances it, calling us to honor and protect the delicate web of existence, which always makes an appearance in our services. When you think about it, the absence of a prefigured plan is not a dismissal of life's value, but an affirmation of our responsibility. If there's no script to follow, then the choices we make, the love we give, the justice we seek, the beauty we create become all the more vital. In the last inch of the cosmic mile, we are called not to dominate, but to steward, to cherish, and to construct lives of purpose rooted in our shared humanity. This perspective may not give us easy answers, but it offers something deeper. The invitation to live intentionally with humility and joy in the face of the wondrous improbability of it all. Carl Sagan once said, "We are rare and precious because we are alive, because we can think. We're privileged to influence and perhaps control our future. We have an obligation to fight for life on earth, not just for ourselves, but for all those, humans and others, who came before us and to whom we are beholden." Life is fragile. Life is extraordinary and apparently rare from I have an interest in astronomy, and we have, there aren't many planets out there that are in the Goldilocks zone, but I'm sure there are quite a few, we just haven't discovered them, but life in our neighborhood appears to be very rare. Amid the vastness of the cosmos, the ability to think, reflect, and influence our surroundings makes us uniquely responsible. This rarity is not just a privilege to enjoy, but a reason to act with reverence and urgency. We inherit the fruits of those who came before us and owe it to future generations to steward this planet wisely. There are a number of huge problems we could dwell on, although at the time that Sagan said this, he identified nuclear war, which is still a possibility, environmental catastrophe, which, holy cow. Maureen and I watched some of the coverage of the California fires this morning, and our hearts go out to the thousands of people affected. Economic collapse was another threat, and mass starvation was another that he identified. These are all human-made problems that require human ingenuity, cooperation, and willpower to solve. Political, economic, and religious ideologies cannot excuse inaction. Instead, we must prioritize survival and the flourishing of life above all else. How do we bridge that gap between wonder and action? Well, our faith doesn't ask us to reject the sacred, but instead invites us to redefine it. What is sacred if not the interconnected web of existence and the love we bring to it? This perspective moves us beyond belief into action, into living our values in community. There is a kind of spirituality of wonder involved with some of our best problem solving. When faced with a complex issue, it often requires more than logic or reason. It calls for imagination, the ability to envision possibilities that do not yet exist. And this wonder is a deep, almost reverent curiosity that drives innovation and creativity, whether exploring the mysteries of the cosmos, seeking solutions to global crises, or simply finding ways to be more compassionate in our daily lives. This spirituality of wonder invites us to approach challenges with open hearts and minds. It's the same spark that fuels scientific discovery, artistic expression, and acts of kindness. Personally, I keep the door open a little bit for religious mysticism, but I do not invoke divine spirits to solve my problems. We are left with our own efforts. Our own creativity, and compassion to navigate life's challenges. While some find solace in higher powers, I find inspiration in the resilience of the human spirit, the power of community, and the potential for growth and change within each one of us. Sometimes small gestures make a big difference. A stranger's act of kindness or a moment of compassion can bridge the gap between wonder and action. I'll close with another reflection from Carl Sagan. For small, and this one really got to me, for small creatures such as we, the vastness is bearable only through love. And, you know, the UUA just went through the whole process of looking at our principles and purposes, and what they ended up with was a lot of things surrounding love in the center. Because that's really, that really is the energy that we rely upon. And I think that those words, for small creatures such as we, the vastness is bearable only through love, I think that those words speak to the essence of religious humanism, which just so happens to be at the center of our faith. The acknowledgement of our smallness in the cosmos, paired with an insistence on the transformative power of love and connection. While we're just one part of a vast universe, it is through our relationships, our care for one another, and commitment to justice that we create meaning. In conclusion, in my opinion, religious humanism calls us to be present to the awe and the mystery of life, and to respond with love, creativity, and justice. It's not just a philosophy, it's a practice of being fully human in the world. And I guess it's time now for our closing hymn, number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life.
extinguish our chalice flame, but not the light of love and community which burns in our hearts.
The benediction today are words written by Reverend Dr. Kendall Gibbons, who is a senior figure in Unitarian Universalist circles and in humanist circles, and she was my worship teacher more than 25 years ago. She wrote, "I have heard that the reason angels can fly is that they take themselves lightly. Perhaps the essence of angelhood is a state of eternal play. Perhaps this is what they mean by endless worship, the delight of participation in the ongoing play that is creation, where love and need are ultimately one, and the work is play for mortal stakes, and the deeds are always done for heaven and for the sake of the future."